Alright, hi, my name is Daphne, and today is September 12th of 2022. I have been out here since about 8 o'clock this morning, just tearing out the remainder of the tomatoes, so tomato season is now done. And anything else that was dead or dying or infested or full of mildew. Hi, how you doing? And Biscuit wants to ruin my show. You say hi. Yeah, so we just got through tearing out anything that wasn't great. I also did take some of the extra seedlings out of the raised bed, which were southern mustard greens, and I actually spreaded them throughout the garden bed, so hopefully they take, and we have a bunch more greens actually in the garden space. Hey Snuggles, you want to say hi? You say hi, little garden kitty. You say hi? Huh? You say hi? So you're going to help me keep out the rabbits, huh? You want to help me keep out the rabbits? Huh? You want to help me keep out the rabbits? Okay, you go have a good time. Right, so he just roams around the garden. He's great at keeping out the voles and keeping out the he doesn't really bother the squirrels, which is a problem, but he does keep out the rabbits and the voles, so that's good. So in any case, I just cleared out the garden space, planted some fall crops. I did plant some rutabaga and some more carrot seeds, so hopefully I can get some of those developed before before Thanksgiving. So yeah, and then we also have some pole beans to pick and some okra. So let's go. All right, so we have our basket full of pole beans. Look at that. They're only like a month and a half old, and we got so many. It's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna cook some of these up, sauteed, and freeze some of them too. All right, so let's get the okra. I do have some Thai peppers that also need to be picked, so I'll do that. So I can do some dehydrated peppers tomorrow. And I wanted to show you guys this. So this is the reason why I always check before I prune anything, because there is a nice little cute little caterpillar here. It just looks deadly. What the hell is that? If anybody know, please put it in the comments. And then we have this little beauty here, which I'm nowhere near trying to touch. So those are great. See if I can get that to focus. Side by side. Now all of these wasps I have in the backyard, no one took these out yet. I'm upset about that. And then in the garden bed, I laid down some grass clippings and everything is just kind of cleared out of here. So this is the after of about 4 hours worth of labor. And the garbage cans you see are actually from the dollar store. I use these to help me determine where I actually planted fall crops versus weeds. So that's been very helpful as a visual, so I don't uppluck them by accident. But it also keeps them from the moths somewhat, and also from the crickets, which we get really, really bad towards the fall. So just offering them a little bit of protection while they are in their baby stage. There's a patch of oregano here, which was cut down a couple of times, and it's still growing. And then this is mugwort, which I did cut down, and obviously it needs to be cut down again. And that's great because I could use some more tea. So I definitely will cut some of this down and a bunch of it in the front, probably as the last cutting of mugwort tea for the winter. And I literally just hang it upside down in my grow room and just let it dry. Then look at this. Outside of the okra, look how empty it is. Oh, fall is here. Hopefully we have some nice carrots, which I'll interplant in between the mustards. Maybe some radishes since they're quicker growing. I just don't quite know what I'll do with the radishes, or maybe some turnips because I will use those in greens. And this beauty here, look at that. Now I did have to cut part of this plant down. It definitely has a couple of vine borers in it, and you can just tell that from the stem. In multiple places, the plant had taken up root. So there's some roots in this stem as well down in the ground. But I also needed the space just to clear this walking path out. So I did cut half of this vine. So I wasn't sure if I should take this today, if the plant will survive such a hacking, but I do want to leave this for seed. So I might just leave it until the plant dies. There is another one though. You guys have to see this one. So I also do not have any gold rush squash, summer squash. So look at this baby. I don't have any seed for it. I do have a few in the freezer that's been frozen for like soups and stuff, but look at this. And I'm not gonna take this either. I'm gonna let this get as large as it can so I can get the seeds from this. And I don't know how much longer it has. The plant is very sick. It has probably a couple of vine borers. You can see that in there. Just split straight through, but it's still producing. So I'm gonna let this one go as long as it can. That is huge. Definitely need to come out here and get some. This is still edible. Look at this. It's still soft. Definitely need to cut some okra. We have 1, 2. Look how big these things have gotten. Hi, you want to cut some okra? Hey, you want to cut some okra? No, Mia. I have 2, 3. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you guys could see it without disturbing her. It was a little bee. Just pollinating. Nature is so beautiful. We have frogs and praying mantises, and honeybees have returned. All types of good things. Here's another one. So we have 4 okra. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. I think every plant has at least 1. 5, 6. Yeah, about 6 okra that need to be harvested. I think in a couple of weeks I will actually stop harvesting okra and just save the okra for seed. And I know there will be a cross-pollinated. It will be a cross-pollinated seed between the crimson spineless and the burgundy okra, but that's perfectly fine as long as it's edible. Hi. How you doing? You just taking a nap? You just taking a nap? How you doing? Huh? Okay. This monster right here. This little bitty plant. Look at that. That thing's huge. Alright. This one I'm going to let stay. I do have some peppers over here. Let's just pinch and pull. Do it that way. Look at that beautiful basket of color. And there's a jalapeno plant hiding in here somewhere in this jungle of these stink bugs. Oh my God, look at this. I was too focused on the Sugar Rush Red. I didn't even notice these jalapenos. I have to do some pickling. Yeah, I won't take them all. I do need to pickle some of these. I might end up doing that tomorrow. I think there's another plant back there as well. Then a Thai pepper plant here. So beautiful. Alright, so what I did not show you guys was what was actually harvested today during the garden clean out. So I have a ton of green tomatoes, just tiny ones. Different varieties of beefsteak and the remainder of the, what's that heirloom? I forget. A lot of beefsteaks, a lot of San Marzanos. This huge one is a Marconi red pepper, which I've actually been just stabbing holes in and just dehydrating whole. That way I can also save the seeds and use the fruit for powders and paste. I also have this little baby bell pepper here, which I took because I needed to cut the plant down. It was getting a little sickly. So there's another one. So just and huge Amish paste. Wonk wonk, the last of the season. Look at that baby. And I can get seeds out of this one because it's huge. A couple of unripe Sugar Rush Red peppers, which I hope will ripen in the house. I will not refrigerate these. I'll just leave these on the counter and see if they're anything like tomatoes. I have a few cherry tomatoes. That one was split. So, basket of just yeah, green tomatoes, red tomatoes. There's actually a patty pan squash in there. You've seen what they look like. The little white squashes. It's right at the bottom here. And then we have another huge basket of green tomatoes. Most of these are San Marzanos because the plants were just very sickly. So I'm gonna have some of these ripen. I don't know if any really, I've never actually had a fried green tomato, so that might be something to do this week, just because I have an abundance of green tomatoes here. But most of these will be sitting on the counter to ripen, or actually all of these will. And then in here, which was what we just picked, we have our okra, we have our Thai peppers, our jalapeno peppers. I mean, look at this. And we also have our pole beans. So that is a lot of food for one day's harvest. And hopefully there'll be more to come with the root vegetables. I have carrots, I have turnips planted, rutabaga. I have different varieties of greens, which I hope to have a nice harvest for Thanksgiving. Yeah, and then we actually still do have some toasty left over as well, and some other medicinal herbs. I could probably get another carting of those before the fall hits. So I'm very excited. And even though, sorry, I think I hear my cat. He always sounds like he's right behind me. But even though it's kind of, you know, wonk wonk, because I do love the garden, I do love being in it if the weather's not icky and if it's not all buggy. But it is kind of nice to see it kind of empty. Just because it gives me the opportunity to not only plant the fall crops. I don't have to come out and water almost every day anymore or check on it because the garden is kind of shrunk now that everything is out. But it also gives me room to see the direction that I want the garden to go into next year. So I don't think I'm expanding anymore. I want to kind of keep a play area for my kid. And then I do need to find an area to put my persimmon tree because I think she needs to come out of her bucket. But outside of that, we're not doing any more expansions. And maybe I'll show a garden video if anyone's interested about how this garden has transformed in the last 3 years, because it's been amazing. But more so, I just want to kind of do a little bit of upkeep. So these garden beds, I don't know if you've noticed, they are cloth. They are weed barrier material and some garden fencing and some T-posts split in half, which was very innovative because I needed to have a place to house the soil. But now that I have the soil in place, I'm thinking that maybe I can line these with some aluminum or aluminum siding, or even get some sheet metal cut. Um, and I think that would actually still be cheaper than wood. So looking into that next year in terms of cost. I also want to redo the gates and the doors to the garden just to make it look a little cohesive. So yeah, there's some garden improvements more so than garden expansions, which is great for my back and my legs. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. That'll be something to work on in the winter when I get the garden blues. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I do hope that your gardens are doing great. I hope that you are in the midst of garden planning for next year like I am. And hopefully you can put some fall crops in so you can constantly harvest throughout the winter. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and